Okay, in this video we are going to be looking at question 5, part B of the FP1 Edexcel 2014 June FP1 paper. And if you remember in part A, we showed that the summation of from 1 to n of 2r minus 1 all squared is this thing. It's a third n 4n squared minus 1. Okay, I've got it written out down here as well. Well, now in part B, we've been asked to use this result to show that the summation from 2n plus 1 to 4n of the same thing, the 2r minus 1 all squared, is going to be something, whereas before we had a third, it's going to be something else, times n, and then inside the brackets we've got something else, whereas before it was a 4, we've got something else here, n squared minus 1. So we're going to basically be asked to find a and b, what those something else is r. Okay, so just to make it clear, before we started from 1 and went up to n, and it was equal to this thing. Now we're starting from 2n plus 1 and we're going up to 4n, and it's going to be equal to something else, and that's what we're going to ask to find. Okay, now in order to explain what's going on here, I'm going to use this example, okay, because what we ultimately want is to start from 1, okay, because we know that starting from 1 going up to whatever this thing is up here, we can just sub in whatever this thing is up in here for n. Okay, because n can be anything you like, absolutely anything. And whatever that thing is, you can just sub it into this formula and you'll get, what you want, as long as you're starting from the r equals 1. So that's what we want to do. We want to convert this into starting from r equals 1. Okay, so I'm going to use this example here. We're going to use a very simple example, the summation of r, but we're going to start from 3 and go up to 5. Okay, so we literally just sub in r equals 3. And then we're going to add that to, then we're going to raise the counter by 1, so then we're going to sub in 4, and then we're going to raise the counter again, we're going to go up to 5, and that's where we've been told to stop, right? So, this is the same. Now I'm going to consider as starting the counter from 1, and see how that differs, because hopefully we can see what's going on. That shouldn't be too difficult. So, we're going to start from 1, so we're going to go 1, plus 2, plus 3, plus 4, plus 5. Okay, let's look at these things. Okay, that's the same as that, but this thing is not the same as that. So in other words, in order to make this thing look the same as that thing, we're going to have to take away the 1 plus 2, which is just the summation from r equals 1 to 2 with r. So we're going to have to take that away from here. And that should equal r equals 3 to 5. So this should now be the same as this. And let's just verify that. So this is the same as saying 1, this is 5, 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5. Okay, that's that first thing. Take away, you're going to go 1 plus 2. 1 plus 2. Okay, so take away 1 plus 2. So we want to take that away from here. So there we go. Okay, and that's 3 plus 4 plus 5, which is what we wanted. Okay, so basically what we're saying is the summation from something from something which is not 1 up to a number is the same as summation from starting from 1 up to that number. Take away the summation from 1 to the number just before this counter down here. Okay, so in this case it was 2. It's before 3. So the summation from 2n plus 1 is the same as going from 1 to 4n, take away the counter from 1 to just before this counter, which is 2n. Okay, and now it should be fairly straightforward. That's the hard bit done, okay, and if you manage to work that out, that's 1 mark actually. Okay, so let's sub in, so we know the summation of from 1 to whatever this thing is up here is the same as third, subbing whatever that thing is up there, multiplied by 4 times whatever that thing is up there, squared minus 1. Okay, so let's look at this thing first. The thing up here is 4n, so we've got a third, 4n, times by 4, 4n squared minus 1. Yeah? And then we take away third. This thing now is 2n. Okay, so where before we had 4n, we now got 2n. 4 times 2n, all squared, minus 1. Okay, and summing that incorrectly gets us another mark. So that's 2 marks out of 3 already. The final few marks are getting it in the form of finding out what a and b are. Okay, so let's do a little bit of manipulation. So we've got 4/3 n times by 4 times, this is 4 squared, remember, so 16n squared. Take away 1. Minus 2/3 n. This is 2n's all squared, remember, so this is 4 times 4n squared, minus 1. Right? And then we've got, let's do a little bit of manipulation here. Well, actually, no, before we do anything else, I can already see a 2/3 n hidden in here, and it's 2/3 n here. Why can I see a 2/3 n hidden in here? Well, this is just the same as saying, 4/3. Oh, don't do that. Right, 4/3, do apologise for that. 4/3 is the same as saying 2 multiplied by 2/3. Okay, because the 2's multiplied together on the top. Okay, so there is a 2/3 hidden in here, which is what I want. There's just be a 2 left over if I take out 2/3. Okay, so I'm going to take out 2/3 n. And then inside I'm going to have 2 multiplied by this thing here. 4 times 16 is just going to be 64 n squared minus 1. I've already taken the 2/3 out, so this is just going to be minus this thing here, which is going to be 4 times 4, which is 16 n squared minus 1. Okay, simplify this. We've got the 2/3 n. It's already looking good that the a is going to be a 2/3 if you look back at the original question. So 2 times 64 is 128 n squared minus 2 times negative 1, it's going to be negative 2. Take away 16 n squared plus 1. Again, a little bit more manipulation, not much more. 128 n squared, take away 16 n squared. What's that going to be? It's going to be 112 n squared. Then the minus 2 plus the 1, that's going to give you minus 1. And that is in the form we're after. So a equals 2/3 and b equals 112. There's your final mark. 3 marks, easy peasy.